Hello, and welcome to James, the Let's Express Lane, where we get you in and out as fast as possible after one day of not begging. It broke DSP. Let's watch.
We are going to get all caught up on everything going on, including how did the Five Nights at Freddy's Torture-thon go back on Monday? How's everything else
Mind you, he didn't do a pre-stream. He went right into, well, right, maybe a 20-minute pre-stream, but he went right into Call of Duty.
been going? Where are we with our goals? How is everything with the content? What's coming up later this week? There's a lot to talk about. Okay, there really is. A lot of people are asking questions. So I'm going to answer those questions to the best of my ability on today's show. In addition, we've got a big news story regarding Ubisoft under fire by its own shareholders for its ineptitude as a game development company. Ouch. It's not just the gamers saying it anymore. So we've got a good amount to talk about today. It's going to be a long one, a fun one, an informative one, but it's going to be a good one. So sit back and relax. It is time for another episode of the Level 1 Podcast. Alrighty, folks. Well, welcome to the show. Today is Wednesday, the 12th of March, 2025. It's weird to say that. No, it really is. Like, it doesn't feel like Wednesday to me. This week has kind of been a blur. A lot of stuff going on, both public-facing and private, which is why everything is kind of thrown out of a loop. It's one of the reasons why there was no podcast yesterday. So basically, yeah, I get it. Like a lot of you yesterday were incredibly confused, scratching your heads, wondering what the heck was going on, because a lot of people said, Phil, you seem out of sorts. You seem like you're not yourself. You know, what's going on? And I basically just kind of pushed forward and did my day of
Yeah, it's crazy. He finally doesn't sit there and beg for hours, and everyone's freaking out like, what the fuck is going on? Was he replaced by an alien? Like, it was crazy as all the speculation of why. What happened that would stop him from begging?
streaming and didn't really care to address it. But today I will to some extent, again, to the best that I can, because as I keep telling you guys, the stuff that's going on really isn't anything that's public facing nor stuff that you should know about. Everyone has a private life. The problem is I'm a guy who's literally on stream 6 days a week, all day long, and it comes through. You know, I'm not one of these fake people who's putting on this crazy mask or front. You know, when you see me on stream, usually you see me in my mood or whatever's going on. And, you know, this week has been really, really hard with a lot of stuff going on that I'm just not going to talk about publicly. All right. But
He's gonna make sure you know about it, so you pity him and give him pity bucks, but he's not gonna tell you about it. He's gonna bring it up constantly, over and over and over again.
it affects these streams in a big way when you see me not acting right, when I'm changing the schedule around and everything. Yeah, it sucks. So here's the thing. It's like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Okay. And you might say, well, what does that mean? If I had never said a thing that I was going through anything personal right now, okay, and then all of a sudden on a stream I explode and I'm pissed, or I put
Wow, grown as adult can't control his emotions. Good to know.
out a whole stream where I'm sounding like an asshole or whatever, but
You
I'm
mean every
explained
stream?
that this is very much because of stuff behind the scenes and not you guys or anything public facing, you know, that might actually hurt someone. That might actually like upset someone. So I feel it's my responsibility as a creator that every day I'm going to be on this stream that I at least tell you if there's something else going on. So then you can be like, oh, I get it. So Phil's really in a bad mood and that's why he's acting like this, you know, and this particularly this last week and a half, 2 weeks has been really bad. Okay.
Imagine going to work, yelling at your boss, man. I'm sorry, it's because my wife keeps ordering QVC and barbecue for hundreds of dollars, and I just can't afford it. I'm so sorry. Okay, but you just told me to go fuck myself. So how about you go home and you never return? But boss, I had to tell you to go fuck yourself. My wife just ordered another $100 combo plate from Famous Dave's. Goddamn door dashing when I'm not even around.
So I just see that's, again, it's the right thing to do. If I had completely told you all of my business top to bottom, now that's oversharing. When you guys come to my streams, correct? You want to unplug. You're here to chill. You're here to have a good time. You're here to have a nice podcast and we have some conversation here about game news. Then you want to see me jump into a game during the gameplay session and you know, have a hangout session if it's a chill game, or a more intense session if it's a multiplayer game. But in general, you're not here to get wrapped up in the sorrows and the problems of others. You have your own. You don't want to come here and hear a sob story. And I get that. That is definitely something that over the years I have learned from and changed for the better. Despite the fact that people on the internet act like everything is universal and can never be changed, I'm sorry, I absolutely have done my best to change for the better and not turn this into the woe is me, feel bad for Phil stream. Okay? So it sucks because
Wow, what a mighty snort.
it's a tough line to dance on. You'll want to tell everyone what's going on, but you really shouldn't and can't. But at the same time, if you don't mention anything, now definitely people are going to be upset with you if your behavior is different, right? So It is what it is, and that's the thing. People will always speculate about stuff, and they can't. I've heard everything this week. I've heard that Jasper Kitty was sick or injured. I've heard that my wife is getting divorcing me. Taxes are bad this year. They're going to repossess my house. All kinds of dumb shit. Of course, zero, reality to any of that. They're just morons making stuff up constantly like they always do. So it's this simple. All right? There's stuff going on. You don't need to know about it, but it is affecting my content, and there's nothing I can do about that either, and I'm sorry for that. But I hope that you would understand.
You don't need to know anything about it, but he's going to tell you about it anyways.
Hopefully, you're still enjoying the content despite the fact that it is being affected. Okay? And then, and the thing is, of course, like they say, when it rains, it pours. It can't just be one thing, then another thing has to happen, then some drama has to happen, then some bullshit has to happen. That's the worst possible timing, and it's like, it all compounds. So not only do I have this shit going on in my life, but then I got to hear about, did you hear about this drama, that drama, this drama? I could give two fucks about it.
My question is, what are your theories? I feel he was fighting for that refinance and was either told, no, fuck you, or, all right, yeah, we'll refinance, you'll get $30,000. But I need at least 60. Don't you understand? I need at least 65. Yeah, well, this place is a shithole. We'll give you yeah, I think we'll keep it at 30,000. But I need more. Don't you understand? I'm gonna lose my livelihood if you don't give me more money. Sir, this place is a pigsty. It is falling apart. There's mold in the walls. But I installed 2 ceiling fans, and I paid a company to come in and clean my place up. The fact you had to pay someone to clean your house up because it was so bad, yeah, we're gonna knock that down to 20,000. But you just said you're gonna give me 30. Yeah, then you told us that you had to pay a company to clean your house up. Like, you're not taking care of this place at all. So poorly, they had to pay a company to come in and clean it for you. What the fuck are you doing to this place? You know what? Make it 10 grand. Yeah, I need that money.
I've got real shit going on. I don't have to worry about your internet bullshit. Really, it's just so stupid. Why the fuck would I care about all this nonsense you're bringing to my table when I have this immediate heavy shit going on?
That he won't
But
tell
then
you
again, I guess
about.
if you live in a fantasy world where you think everything is based around stuff on the internet 24/7, you actually think that kind of stuff is more than trivial, and when it's really not. So anyway, with all this stuff going on, all right, what I'd like to do is get you guys caught up on everything because I do feel like now we're lagging behind. Like today I woke up and I was like, all right, let's get back into the rhythm of things. Wait, it's Wednesday? It's freaking Wednesday? I feel like the week just started. I really do. Like, I feel like we just began. And like, it's Wednesday. Holy shit. So stuff's been going crazy, right? And in that regard, we do need to get back on track because when everything is kind of derailed and going all over the place, it's definitely hard to try to maintain the right course and not get confused. And you know me, I'm the kind of guy, I've got that mind. I like to plan everything. I want to have my schedule laid out, and this is exactly how we're doing stuff each day, and we're going to tackle this and tackle that. And I realize to some extent you can't always have everything pre-planned, right? It's true. But I'm the kind of guy that I have that kind of analytical mind, and I want to have everything laid out. So we're going to talk about that today because things
You mean you're autistic as shit?
have changed in the schedule a few times already. I want to talk about Monday's marathon because the Five Nights at Freddy's event, I feel, went really, really well. Was eye-opening for many different reasons, in my opinion. And I basically want to talk about the results of it and what's going to come of it because some things might actually come of it, which is great. So let's see. Let's cover all this. Basically, we got to talk about everything, right? I'm going to tell you why we didn't do a podcast yesterday. I want to just cover everything. So, all right. So all that being said, okay, let's start at the beginning, shall we? Let's just kind of jump back in time a couple of days and let's talk about everything going on so that we can get caught up. So let's fast forward back to Sunday, okay? Because on Sunday, something really weird happened, okay? We were at, if you remember, 46 out of 50 goals hit. And when we hit 50 goals, we were going to unlock the Five Nights at Freddy's Torture-thon, whenever it may be. I didn't think we were going to be doing it Monday. I told you guys.
It was more of a torture-thon for anyone trying to watch because, guys, what do I do? Guys, what do I do? Chat, you still haven't told me what to do. Oh, okay. Does it. And even with Chat holding his hand, it took him hours to get to night 4 of the first game. With Chat holding his hand. Womp womp.
We weren't going to do it Tuesday because Smart Guys was scheduled for Tuesday night, so that if we didn't do it Monday, we would do it Wednesday, and that was fine. But I said, hey, there's always a weird chance that maybe there'll be a rallying of support, and out of nowhere, right, we would hit these goals, 4 goals in one day, and then boom, we would do the marathon on Monday, which would work fine. I was ready for it, right? I said, we'll have food planned with my wife, and I'll get the games installed, we'll get it all done. And then out of nowhere on Sunday, there was this crazy rallying of support, okay, which I was not expecting. On the Suikoden stream, we actually hit the goals, 2 Suikoden streams in a row, we've hit a funding or a support goal, which is wild because it's a JRPG, and the fact that we're getting support for a JRPG is crazy, but we are, okay? And then on the late stream of Avowed, while we were open world roaming the final areas of the first map and just having a good time chilling and exploring and questing, boom, explosion of support. Now, there was all this confusion because It was these accounts who no one really knew. Ken, what was the other one? There's two accounts, and they were both Sanitarium, right? These two accounts just start dropping big contributions out of nowhere, and everyone's like, "This is really suspect," because in the last week, we had multiple nights where there were fake contributions. And what I mean by saying fake, I mean people using a stupid VPN to change their IP address to make it look like they're in another country and buy a bunch of memberships for pennies. So throwing 50 to 100 memberships at the channel at a time, and I'm making 2 cents on it. So really, they don't have
Yes, it's the funniest thing ever. I love it. If you're gonna give him money, make sure it's pennies.
any value, right? So when we're trying to count, are these real contributions or not? You get suspect when there's people you never really seen. These aren't regulars. These are people I've never heard of before, but they're showing up and they just start contributing and they're gifting memberships and super chatting. It's going crazy, right? So after much skepticism, we did count all those contributions on Sunday, and boom, we hit all of our goals and unlocked the Five Nights at Freddy's Torture-thon on Monday. Okay? And so on Monday, it was a crazy day. First of all, one of the longest marathons I've ever done. I was here from 11 in the morning till past 9 at night. So almost like, 10, 11 straight hours of streaming with very few breaks in between.
Very few. I only took 2 breaks. Both breaks were 2 hours long, but I only took 2 breaks. All right, they weren't that long, but yeah. Let's say, guys, I took very few breaks. But if you take a half-hour break, then it doesn't matter how few breaks you took. If the one break you did take was an hour, or 2 hours, or 5 hours. Boss, I didn't leave work early. I took a break. I even clocked out for it. You clocked out at 9:30, didn't come back until 4:30. Yeah, but I came back, so it was a break, not me leaving early. I could so see him doing that.
It was pretty crazy, in my opinion. It was pretty crazy that I played so many Five Nights at Freddy's games in one sitting. Normally, I wouldn't do something like that. So that was really kind of an unprecedented thing. 5 different games, back to back to back. It was the first time I ever gave them a
Never finished any of them.
serious look. Because previously, I just played them casually or saw people play them. In this case, finally, me focusing on them and trying them out and giving them a fair shake, right, was something that was unique and different. And there goes my camera. Unique and different and interesting. Yeah, I'm still having problems with these cameras, and I don't know what to do about it. So I plugged both cameras into the motherboard. They're still turning off. It doesn't matter if I plug them into the USB hubs or the motherboard or the front ports. They still turn off. There doesn't seem to be a way around it. I just, I tried. I updated, like I told you guys yesterday, I updated the firmware for them. I opened up the app. Oh, their firmware update. There's no firmware update. I did it yesterday, but it claims there still is, meaning the firmware for the cameras doesn't even save. It's all screwed up. It's all kinds of screwed up. Okay? Let me see if I can get this camera working again. Hold on.
Someone told him the camera's overheating. He touched one of them like, wow, that's really hot. And then apparently he's just completely forgotten that. Completely forgotten that someone told him, hey, the cameras get hot. Checked and like, oh shit, this camera is actually really hot. Now, I don't know, guys, why does it keep failing? Well, you figured it out the day before or whatever, that hey, it gets hot. When they get hot, they shut off. That's gin brain for you. The best part of the stream, he's not on it. That's just terrible. But true.
So I hate to say it, despite the best intentions of that person who 2 days ago wrote me that email trying to help me, at this point, I do actually believe that it's my motherboard that's the problem. I do. I think my motherboard is just a piece of garbage and just turns the things off randomly for no good reason. Like, no rhyme or reason. It shouldn't, but it is doing that because it sucks. I don't know what else to say. I just think the motherboard is trash. And I think we're going to keep dealing with this. And there's going to be entire weeks where things work fine with no issue whatsoever. And then there's actually going to be times when nothing will work and the cameras will turn off, and I just got to deal with it. Because I'm not buying a whole new PC. I don't have the ability to replace the motherboard myself. There's really nowhere reliable around here to do it. There's one local PC shop around here, and I don't think that they're going to do it in any kind of a timely manner and not rip me off. So I guess I just got to kind of put up with it for now. No rhyme or reason for it. And by the way, it's not always the same camera. Sometimes it's this camera. Sometimes it's this camera. Sometimes it's both cameras. So obviously the camera's not overheating. I just turned my setup on. So how could it be that the camera overheated? It's not that. It's the motherboard's trash. Well, whatever. At least it's a quick reset.
You just turn it on, but was it already plugged in? If it's already plugged in, that means it's power going to it, dumbass. May not be a lot of power, but it's still power.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't keep turning off during the show today. I switched ports. I went from the motherboard direct port back to the front USB port. I used it like this for ages, and it wasn't having much issue, so hopefully...
One thing I'm thinking of is, when I redid my computer, I know the 4070 Ti Super put in, got an extra M2 put in, upgraded to a larger HDD. My computer, for some reason, when it connected to the internet, would just randomly stop connected to the internet. Don't do it for like a second, and then turn back on. And then turn off for a second, then turn back on. It was a power saving mode thing that you had to go in and turn off. Very annoying that it should be doing that. I wonder if that's what's going on. Is his computer just randomly doing the same thing that mine was doing? And the only way to fix it is to Google the issue and then go in and turn off that mode. So yeah, he's never going to do it unless Darziak tells him how to do it.
It'll keep working today. I don't know. All right, anyway. So back on track. With the Five Nights at Freddy's Marathon, previously I had never really given a lot of time to these games, and this is a unique opportunity for me to actually try these out in a row and to see the evolution of the series and how it had adjusted and changed over time, but also to give it a fair shake because I never had. You know, similar to Minecraft back in the day that I just crapped on it constantly, okay? Now, obviously, I want you to watch the videos. I played all day. I mean, it's a good, like, 7, 8 hours of gameplay plus vlogging and stuff that I did about it. And there was a final video that I did at the end where not only did I give my final thoughts, but people started hitting me with so many contributions, I got, like, shit-faced drunk at the end. But then I turned the stream off, luckily, because, man, I was sloppy drunk, okay? But, in a nutshell, let me summarize. Five Nights at Freddy's is not bad, okay? In fact, if you look at the first 5 games, they're all cheap. I think the most expensive one is $8, right? They're just a few bucks each. They're not meant to be
So they're not bad games because they're cheap. Once again, comes down to the money.
AAA overblown game experiences. They're meant to be little short jump scare simulators. Each one has a little bit of a different spin. If you want my honest opinion, I actually think that the first one is the best, and then each one after tries to do a unique spin or take, but I think the first one kind of did it the best and laid the groundwork, while the ones after it, hit or miss. Like 2, I think, got too complicated. 3 is just bad. It really is. Like, 3 is just stupidly bad the way that they laid it out with only one killer, and it's just really stupid. 4 doesn't even feel like Five Nights at Freddy's because the way they laid it out, you're in a bedroom, right? But it has this unique audio factor to it that I actually liked a lot. Having the headphones on and hearing the audio cues was actually really well done. And then 5 is a crazy lore fest where the game is building this world and all this lore and excitement. Like, wow, this is interesting. It's like they're taking it seriously now. So overall, even though I thought I was going to go into it and absolutely hate everything, I thought it was actually a really great marathon. I went into it with this one expectation. I came out the other end kind of with.
He made just over $1,000 after fees. Before fees was a little over $1,300. After fees, it was just over $1,000. That's why he enjoyed it.
The knowledge of the games. And in a nutshell, here's my feeling about Five Nights at Freddy's. It is a unique series that has merit. It is insanely overblown, overhyped, and overpopular. It doesn't really need to be as talked about and as popular as it is, but internet content creators decided to try to blow this game up for personal gain and succeeded with it. There is absolutely nothing that needs tons of time to be focused on in the Five Nights at Freddy's series. It's not even meant to be like that, but then content creators made it like that. So what did they do? They started changing the series to cater to the content creators to keep that popularity rolling. And so by the time you play 5, you're like, wow, 5 actually is a much better designed game with better lore, but is this really what it was intended to be? Probably not. Do you really think the creator thought that this is what the series would be? It's probably just a hobby or a side thing for a few bucks, hoping a few people would play it. And then internet creators, streamers, and lore streamers decided to blow it out of context and blow it out of proportion. But after having played all 5 games, I actually don't fault the creator of the game at all for what happened.
I think he slipped up. He was using a guide and accidentally made it. Oh, I mean, yeah, I wasn't watching. I wasn't watching, guys. I swear.
I don't think that it's his what's his name, Scott. I don't think it's his issue. I don't think he intended that. I don't think he's even part of it. It just kind of happened around him and he just rode the wave. And I can't blame him for that at all. Really. Like, I actually think that after having played all of them, I enjoyed myself. And I've said I would consider going back and playing 1 again. I would consider going back and probably playing 5 again. Those 2 were the ones like the originator.
So they're going black, huh? Good to know.
And the one that had a lot of lore and was building, those 2 are probably the most interesting to me that I would consider going back and playing again. And then people had actually said, well, would you go back and play more? Because they had more games after that. That's a maybe. Like, I would like to go back and maybe beat 1, and then maybe play through 5, and then after that, make that determination. Would I want to go play, what was it, Control Breach or Security Breach? Security Breach, right? So would I want to play that? It's a maybe, you know? So, I was actually blown away, quite frankly. I came out of that marathon feeling completely different than how I thought I would. But, you know, again, it seems like history's repeating itself, because isn't that exactly what happened with Minecraft back in the day? Where I crapped on it, but then when I actually gave it a fair shot, I walked out of there saying, whoa, this actually wasn't half bad. This was actually pretty good. And then I ended up doing a giant series of content on Minecraft that was really popular and everyone liked it. So, who knows? Maybe that will happen again with Five Nights at Freddy's. Maybe I'll play.
Papa Vera liked it. Gave you a bunch of money. Tried to help you. And you still found a way to fuck it up.
1 and 5 again and beat them and like them. And people will ask me to play future ones or the ones I missed and the new ones. And maybe I'll end up making content on them, right? I don't know. But to be honest, do I really think that there needs to be a movie? No. I can't imagine what the movie's about or why there's a movie. That it just seems really silly to me that there is one. Jasper Kitty in the house, by the way. Everyone say hello to Jasper Kitty. Ready for the Jasper Cam? Jasper Cam. Here we go. I like having this camera so you see him up close better. Jasper, look up here. Look over here. You won't look over there. Okay. There you go. Falcule says, I'm close to correct. It blew up way beyond any kind of expectations. The lore was developed later, and the developer incorporated fan theories into the lore. There you go. Well, see, I'm glad to understand it now finally. Because ignorance, some people say ignorance is bliss. For me, ignorance is just like, I don't know, like I feel like I'm stupid because I formulate these
Your
opinions
constant
based on
state of
half-truths and
being.
bullshit, and then when I finally look into stuff and I see the truth of it, I'm like, oh, it's not nearly as bad as I thought. You know, it's happened with Minecraft, and it happened with Five Nights, and probably this will happen with other games and franchises in the future as well. You know, much like how everyone on the internet hates me because of the stuff that everyone says, misconceptions and nonsense, and then when they actually come to my streams and they check them out, they're like, oh, it's not nearly as bad as everyone makes it out to be. It's actually pretty good content, and I like it.
No. Treasure Lex has no idea who you are. 5 minutes of hearing about you, she realized you're a piece of shit. August the Duck. Same thing. Everyone that comes across you realizes, no, you really are just a giant piece of shit.
And I'll hang out with Phil. You know, yeah. Anyway, so there you go. So I really like the marathon. Now let's talk about the other half of the marathon, which was the support. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, outside of like way back in the day, we're talking many years ago, and times when they were going really badly. All right, and I wasn't doing well financially, and basically, uh, essentially, hold on, I'm getting distracted by Jasper, losing my train of thought. Besides the days back in the day when things were going bad for me and I would do like a marathon, oh, I have $1,000 goal and I really need your help to pay my bills and stuff like that. Those days are in the past. All right. I'm embarrassed that I used to do that kind of stuff. Back then, I used to have some bank on a stream. Like I had streams where people would give $2,000 tips, okay, which is insane. To even think that in the modern day, that's never going to happen again, right? But
It could,
one day
but
stream,
we'll have to wait and
basically, here's what
see.
happened. Okay, the first half of the stream, we had people coming by and supporting, and we had a good amount of support. We did. It was probably like $500-600 in the first half of the stream, and then it died out and froze. And I was like, well, it is what it is. We don't get anything else by the end of the stream. It's still a good stream. I'm not upset. Hit multiple goals. This is great. And then all of a sudden, in the last like hour and a half, last 90 minutes, so I was playing Five Nights 5, which is what sister location, and then I was doing like my final thoughts. All of a sudden, some people start showing up and they start supporting huge. We're talking giant super chats, tons of gifted memberships. All right. So again, you got to be skeptical if it's all real or not. But I gave the benefit of the doubt and I counted it all. And by the end of the marathon, I don't even know how much I made. I'm going to be honest because people got me so drunk. Remember, I said I'm going to take a shot every $100. By the end of the marathon, within like an hour, we went from $600 of support to over 1,200. So I'm like chugging shots and it's all hitting me. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to finish this marathon because if not, I might, pass out at this rate. You know what I mean? Like, holy shit. So I basically, had to quick and end it. I legit don't know how much like I made at all. I have no idea. I'm completely lost.
Once again, 1,300. Just over 1,000 after fees and all that.
All right. So anyway, all that being said, ended the marathon. Yes, I was drunk at that point. Luckily, I was able to sober up and everything and spend some time with my wife before I passed out. But it was absolutely wild. All that happened. Okay. Now, you might say, well, Phil, was it all real? Okay. Well, let me put it this way. For the most part, it seems like yes. It does seem like some of the stuff was fake because I looked at my kind of analytics. You get them after a day or two, and it basically says that on that stream, I think I made like $800. Now we were counting, and it said I made over 1,200. See, so something doesn't jive there. So what was fake? What was real? I don't know. Could it be? I know I didn't make like over $400 in tips that day. We did make some tips, but not that much. So
A little over $100 in tips.
oh, basically, yeah, it's like I really don't know what what was real and what wasn't. I legit don't even know who was legit. Like someone was giving fake stuff, but who was it? I don't know. There was a bunch of people at the end of the stream who were all contributing at once in one big group. So it's hard to tell. Like, was one person legit or more? I don't know. Okay. Also, there was that avowed stream the night before, and I looked into that, and from what I could see, I think that was all legit. That avowed stream. So all that stuff that came in on the avowed stream seems legit. So basically, yeah, it all looks like it was pretty good, and it's going to help out in the long term. Okay. And that's a good thing. So thanks to everyone who did show up, support that marathon. It was amazing. All right. It will help. I mean, I wasn't expecting to do a marathon that was essentially twice as good as a normal marathon that I would really do. It was out of nowhere. And really, I'm very appreciative of that. That will help a lot. Okay. Now, that was Monday. Okay. So let's talk about yesterday. All right. You may have noticed yesterday was a very different kind of day. There was no podcast. It was pretty much pure gameplay. All right. What was it? It was a giant stream of Black Ops 6 Ninja Turtles gameplay, trying to unlock the remaining content in that battle pass before it ran out because it was scheduled to run out tomorrow, and I knew I wasn't going to play it again today. And also, it was a nice indie game night, all right, which was very fun. So we'll talk about that. Let's talk about that in a second. I want to do a couple shout outs, all right? So let's do a couple shout outs, and then we'll get to this. So first of all,
He's just dying to tell everyone, guys, I didn't beg and I hit my goals.
Iron Chef Sucks Guys did a $5 super chat, and I appreciate that. Iron Chef Sucks Guys was the first super chatter of the day. By the way, quick question. What color are you guys seeing this text as? Does it show to you as like an orangish yellow on top and red on the bottom? The reason I ask is this is weird. I've been trying different text, different gradients and stuff, and yellow-orange. Okay. Because I actually selected like almost a neon green and red, but it's showing yellow to red, yellow into orange. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why it's doing that because I selected like a green. I'm looking at it right now. It looks green, but it's yellow instead. Maybe it's combining the colors with the gradient. I still think it looks fine, right? So I'm just going to leave it. Okay. I'm not going blind. It is yellow into orangish red. Okay. Good. All right. So thank you, Iron
You
Chef
are
Sucks, guys. And
blind.
then he tried to start drama, and I'm not going to start drama today. So thanks for that. A couple quick tips came in. Let's shout out these tips. Hold on. Stretch this out a bit. There we go. So I can actually see what I'm doing. Okay. Our first tip today is a $5 tip from Super Snow Carl Turbo HD Remix. And we're going to read the message in a second. Let me get it on the leaderboard. Yeah. What a name. He says, I thought that you were maybe being paranoid about haters, but after finding out what's happened to a Japanese streamer, was an IRL streamer, some hater of hers took her life yesterday. Wow. Having seen that, I see why you're paranoid about your biggest haters. Well, you have to understand something, okay?
Evil AJ's outside the window and Tevin's a basketball American. He's gonna get me. Me. Shut the fuck up.
We are currently in what I would consider the formative phase of internet content creation, okay? We are at a very early stage, okay? I've only been doing this for 14 years as a job, okay?
You've been
And
doing
made
it
a
for
full-time
17
living
years.
doing it. So you could argue that maybe you could have done content creation as a job for around 15 years at this point. That's like it. I mean, that's super early. Do you understand? Super early. What's happening is the content creation is rocketing past levels of control, sanity, and safeness. Safety. That's what I'm looking for, the word safety. Sadly, all right, we are in a situation where there is really no one monitoring content, behavior, social interactions, and all of this stuff on the internet. No one. And people are
Plenty of people are doing that. Plenty of governments are doing that. What the fuck are you talking about? But when I call the cops on evil AJ being outside my window, they tell me to shut the fuck up.
constantly pushing the boundaries, constantly doing things that you would consider more risque. Is this acceptable? Is this not acceptable? Right? What's entertainment and what's not? At what point has it gone too far? And I feel like at this point, we do have people who are constantly pushing those boundaries. And some people are wise enough to say, okay, I get it. It's content on the internet. It's just meant to be silly fun. It's not meant to be taken seriously. This is not, a complete serious matter. There might be some facts here or there, like we say, a nugget of truth that in there at some point ties in, but you got to at some point understand it's being made for the internet so you can digest it, entertain it. It's kind of like reality TV where, yeah, it's sometimes real, but a lot of it's scripted. You know what I'm saying? And as long as you are enjoying it and everyone gets that it's a product, then it's fine. There are some people out there that don't understand there's a product here, right? They don't. They actually legit think that like some of this stuff is real or it's all real. And then they just, they get.
What the fuck does he mean by this? What do you mean by, guys, this is all scripted, just like reality TV? It's scripted. It's not real. I mean, some of it is, but some people think it's real. What the fuck are you talking about? It's like you're trying to defend wrestling or something. This whole rant made no sense to me. That's why I wanted to cover this and everything else, because there's so much
wrapped up in it, and they become part of this vortex of crap on the internet, and it's all day, every day, and it becomes insane obsession, insane amounts of involvement, right? And that's where I get scared because, as you know, all I do is sit in this chair, turn on my stream, talk with you guys, make content, play games, and ask for support in response. That's it.
You don't ask, you beg, you demand. You ban people for not giving you money.
I'm not sitting here blowing the world up. I'm not doing insanely controversial content. I'm not saying things that are harmful. I'm not, leading a cult to jump off a cliff like a bunch of lemmings. None of that is happening. But some people act like it is. Some people actually think that like this harmful, horrible thing's happening. And that's sick. Because all you have to do is just come to the stream and hang out, and it's just, you would know the truth. So, that's a situation that I find myself in. There's people who are absolutely obsessed with me and my family, my cat, my content, all of it. All I want to do is sit here and hang out with a few people every day and have a good time and make a living
And
doing
beg.
it. I don't want to harm anyone. I don't want to, go crazy
You just
to make a
want to
living. I don't want to
beg.
step on anyone to get ahead. I'm cool with who I am and where I am. I'm just happy. But people just aren't satisfied with that. And that's why I get nervous that someday there will be some crazy weirdo, okay, who thinks that they are some kind of crazy righteous knight, that they can end Dark Side Phil and his content creation forever, and they try something stupid. And who's to say that that won't happen? I mean, I hope it doesn't. I hope that people are smart enough to understand this whole thing. It's just a show. It always has been, but people just don't get it. They don't. They think everything is fun.
Now, after not begging yesterday, he also wasn't very toxic. He wasn't taking bait. One reason why he probably wasn't doing the podcast yesterday was to stop himself from talking so much, because he always accidentally slips up. So I'm wondering, what happened? What behind the scenes thing happened? Again, to be like, I'm not that bad a person, I swear. I'm not that bad. It's not that big a deal. This isn't real. If you take this as too personal, it's not that big a deal, I swear. You gotta believe me. Read me. It's not that big a deal. Please believe me. What the fuck happened?
Fucking crazy, serious, and real. And it gets to the point where it's scary shit. Now, in particular, I have no idea what you're talking about in regards to this person in Japan or whatever. I don't know the story, so I'm not going to comment on it at all. But, all I can say is I would hope that it never gets crazy. I would hope that to this point it hasn't, right? To this point it hasn't been to the level of insanity and trying physical harm and shit like that. And I'm happy about that because obviously I want to protect myself and my family. But yeah, it gets crazy when you think that this could happen. You have people who go outside of the realm of reality and just do extreme things. So that's all I'm going to say about that because I can't comment on a situation where I don't know the specifics. I'd be pretty stupid, right? Okay. I received $2 from Big Larry Gaming. Is this font from Paper Mario? This font is supposed to be a take on Mario. I have no idea which games, actually. But yeah, it's supposed to be like a take on Mario Brothers. See, it matches the font in the Level 1 podcast. It's the same font. So. And he says, hope you've enjoyed indie games. Would you try a game called Looking into Fields of Mystria? It's a big update and chill fun. I don't know what that is, Fields of Mystria. Maybe we'll look into it in the future when we're looking for more indie games. Thank you for the $2 tip there. Big Larry Gaming. Okay. Well, there you go. See, Fed Rogers says, yeah, the Comcast thing is crazy. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so far, I would argue that's the craziest thing is someone who actually worked for my ISP, sought out my account, searching by name, found the account, and was messing with my internet for many years. It wasn't just, they did it for a month. They were doing this for years. That was the reason my internet reset during the Side Scrollers interview. It's pretty crazy to think about that, but anyway. All right. So now we got that out of the way. Thank you for the early support, everybody. Okay. So now let's talk about yesterday and how stuff went. Okay. So yesterday, no podcast whatsoever. So no real hangout session vibe or anything like that. It was just me playing Call of Duty for over 4 hours. And arguably, that was my best Call of Duty stream of all time when it comes to gameplay. Not only was I wiping entire enemy teams with melee weapons, but I also switched to the sniper rifle and I went and all of a sudden, when it basically exploded, I got the best kill streak I ever got. The best kill streak I've ever gotten. Insane. Like over 15, 20 kills in a row. Because I was sniping and then I was swapping weapons. I was killing with the blast traps. People were trying to come in and get me and they were dying. Then I was summoning my score streak. So I had the napalm strike. That killed a bunch of people. Then the chopper came in. That killed a bunch of people. I continued to snipe. It was insanity. Okay? And in truth, this last week, there probably would have been 3 or 4 great things that I've done on stream that would have been great highlights. For example, there was the Neil Druckmann segment where I highlighted how he's complaining and crying that he may never make Last of Us 3. He's all stressed out and all it was so hard making Last of Us.
He just said, guys, I hope nothing gets too crazy. I know that there's some crazy people out there might go overboard. Oh, by the way, Neil Druckmann's a bitch for crying about death threats. I don't get it. It's just because he's getting thousands of death threats from nut jobs. Pot, meat, kettle, shut the fuck up.
It was 2 in the Last of Us TV show because of the online bullying he got. The online bullying he got. Give me a fucking break. Anyway, that would have been a good highlight. Obviously, that kill streak would have been a great highlight. The thing is, I just haven't had the time at all to do highlights, which sucks because like I said, I'm making them. I don't have anyone else doing them for me. I'm doing it all. So
he used to, but then he pissed the kid off. Rip effing chat for Arkham.
I just haven't had time at all to do it. Okay. Anyway. So massive gameplay yesterday, and eventually we unlocked Master Splinter, and I even did a bonus video of playing with Master Splinter, which was fun. So if you wanted to see some of the absolute best content that I've done in Call of Duty, you should check out yesterday's videos. You're going to enjoy it. It went really well, okay? Last night, we played an indie game called Kiosk. This indie game is pretty interesting. You are working a very small booth or building, like fast food. You're making burgers, hot dogs, salads, different kinds of drinks, and then later on you add breakfast items, okay? But as you're just simply doing that, you're interacting with people who are telling you creepy stories about someone died and the previous employee died, and you're seeing things. You're starting to see ghosts in the environment and stuff. And it's wild, and it throws you for a loop. You're like, holy shit, what is going on? So, yeah, it's actually pretty well done for an indie game. It's only a few bucks. We were having a good time with it. We were making jokes because there's not really a lot of space to keep everything, so I'm throwing hot dogs on the floor and shit. It was pretty good, a pretty chill time. I had a good time with it. And it looks like we'll probably finish it with one more stream because I think we're on either the last day or the next to last day of the game. So, yeah, I definitely want to finish it. It was a good time. And then next time we'll probably wrap it up. So, if you missed it, give it a look.
So, yeah, never eat at a restaurant that he owns. He just throws food on the ground. Good to know.
It's all here on the channel, all right? Now, you may have noticed something different from yesterday. I'm going to address it in a second, but let's see here. Listen to this. Someone tipped me $2.01. Question, if there's a vortex of mental illness that the internet seems to be creating, do you think on a psychological level we're connected like through a common consciousness? People plug into the common culture and has a physical entity, or the people reacting to and creating a feedback loop which creates in our minds the perception of depravity and mental ill-being? That's a little heavy. What I would say is, like I said, we are currently in the formative years of content creation on the internet and understanding what it's doing to change humanity as a culture. And this is a dangerous time because there are literal groupthink communities forming. It's not just about, a creator making video game content. Take a look at what's happening with politics, right? And how things are being affected by things on the internet with politics, when previously, I would argue, politics had always been a very much IRL thing, right? But now all of a sudden there's online movements, conspiracy theories, and it's getting pretty crazy in that regard. So I'm curious what's going to happen moving forward, because it's very much true when you say the following. It doesn't matter what the truth is. It just matters what the majority of people believe. Right?
Well,
let's say there's a certain
thankfully,
situation
majority of people believe you're a jackass. Just saying, DSP.
happens, and it could be anything, any hypothetical. And there's factually what happened, but everyone just wants to believe that something else happened, says it happened, and regurgitates that it happened. What are more people going to believe? The thing that everyone talks about on the internet, that groupthink mentality. That becomes the fact, and the actual facts get forgotten. And that's a scary thought. It really is. That's an incredibly scary thought. Okay? People are saying my leaderboard's wrong. Because it is. It should be 14. The leaderboard should say 14. I must have not added the one of the $5 contributions. So there you go.
Dumbass.
Okay. Anyway, so let's continue on. All right. So yesterday, there were two distinct differences in my content. Okay? So let's address them. Distinct difference number one, there was no podcast at all. So there really was no hangout session where it was just us talking. There was interaction and talking during Call of Duty, but it was between games. There was some interaction and hangout during Kiosk, but it was a little different than just say, hey, here's the podcast that you've grown to know and love every morning, covering topics, discussing what's going on. It was different, right? For sure. And the fact that there was no podcast, some people distinctly were saying they felt like there was something missing, because that's a staple piece of my day. And why did I not do one? Okay? So that was number one. Okay? Number two, you may have noticed that the other major difference all day long was that not once ever during the course of my entire full streaming day did I ask for a contribution. Not once. I shouted out contributions. I updated the leaderboard. I mentioned if we were like halfway to the goal, but I absolutely not once did I ask for anything. Okay? That was a distinct difference. And I think people noticed. Some people didn't, actually. Some people didn't at all. But then some people noticed.
Bullshit. Every single person on the fucking planet noticed. Because it is so unlike you.
Started talking about it and stuff like that. Okay? So, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the two distinct differences, all right? And let's talk about directly what the result was. So, the result is, no real hangout feeling. Instead, it's just Phil playing games, right? And that's very different, okay, than the usual feeling, than vibe that you get around here. A lot of people have said, I come by because I want to hang out with Phil. I don't necessarily care about what he's even doing today, okay? Now, if you didn't notice, yesterday, during the entire ginormous Call of Duty stream, I didn't hit my goal, all right? In fact, I only got about halfway. It was around, and I think, again, I'm just off the top of my head, I didn't really count it or anything. It was around $80 of support. Not a bad stream, all right? And it's Call of Duty, and Call of Duty always is hit or miss. Sometimes with Call of Duty, I've done really, really well, and other Call of Duty streams have been on the slower side. This one, I got more than halfway, but we didn't hit the goal, right? There you go. Now, there's many things that can be surmised from this. There was no podcast. And typically, in a podcast, I get some support, and that support is tied to the podcast. Like, look, we already have, $14 of support, and undoubtedly there will be more that will come by the end of the show, right? And that is definitely tied to the podcast. Since I didn't do a podcast, likely there were people who said, oh, well, since he's not doing his podcast today, I'm not interested, and they didn't come by and they didn't support, right? So I think that's 100% got to be a factor in that, okay? So maybe if I did do the podcast, and then I had done the Call of Duty stream, maybe I would have hit my goal, all right? And maybe not. Because as you know, when I'm doing the podcast, I say things like I'll talk about the goals and say, hey, look, guys, we're at 58 out of 60 goals hit. And remember, the big reward that's coming up when we hit 60 goals is DSP tries it, Girl Scout cookies, where I'm going to be trying 3 different kinds of Girl Scout cookies. Now, I haven't had these since I was young. It'll be interesting to see what I remember of these cookies versus what they are today. I'll tell you the price, I'll tell you the flavors, and it's going to be an interesting one because it's not fast food, right? Usually I hype it up, and I didn't do that yesterday at all, okay? It didn't happen. So without that hype, right? Without that hype factor, definitely I think there's people who like
You mean without that beg factor?
aren't going to contribute because they contribute when the hype hits. Oh, we're almost close to a goal. Oh, that goal sounds interesting. Oh, I want to be a part of that, right? And that didn't happen yesterday. So there's many factors. Factor number 1, there was no podcast. Some people just didn't show up because there was no podcast, and normally they would have supported during the podcast, and there was none. Number 2, there wasn't a lot of interaction because I was just sitting here playing Call of Duty all day. Okay, and number 3, I wasn't asking for contributions. I wasn't hyping up the goals. Instead, I just kind of let it ride to see how it would go. Okay, now this all applies basically to the first stream. Let's talk about the late stream. So the late stream last night was this unique indie game kiosk. Now, when I play indie games, it's definitely going to be hit or miss as well, because it really depends on what's the game that I select. Is it something that people know? Does it catch on with the viewer? Some indie games that I've played have done a lot better than others, depending on levels of hype and things. So it's always all over the place, right? It is. So again, last night on that indie game stream, I didn't ask for anything whatsoever during the course of the stream. I didn't really bring up the goals or hype them. I think at one point I did mention, hey, we're like halfway to the goal, but I didn't really bring it up. Instead, it was just me talking with you guys and playing the game. And how do we do? I think by the end of the night, I think we got to like 70 something in support. So about halfway. All right. So there you go. Now, what can be surmised? What can be taken away from this? All right. That's really what we got to ask. What is the end result of yesterday? And by the way,
If I don't beg, I don't get money.
why did yesterday even happen? All right. Well, I'm going to tell you. But first, I got to see if this is a troll or not. No, it's not. It's a dollar tip. Someone says, as an addendum, the scary part is when we create a mental disorder in society, it can persist for generations. The mental disorder in some way rubs off to your children who act upon the impressions when grown up. If it's a societal wide, then it can persist and recreate itself. Yeah, I'm really interested to see, in the next few decades, when people start to see the impact of being on the internet 24/7, being involved with this world group thing, these memes and all this shit. Like, how does it affect human society? How has it changed us, right? Because right now, I think we're all in it, but no one's really analyzing it. Anyway, thanks for the dollar tip. Okay, so there's 2 things, all right, going on here at the same time, and basically they both really got to me, and that's why yesterday's content was different, okay? One thing is very personal, something that has happened this week that has hit myself and my family really hard, and basically yesterday was a horrible day, all right? So that being said, I didn't even want to do a podcast. I just wasn't in the mood. Like, I felt like I needed to come to this stream and distract myself as much as I possibly could with gameplay so that I could keep my mind off of stuff, okay? So the moment I came on the stream, I just said hello, and then we went right into Call of Duty, and I'm going to be honest, it worked.
Had a roughly 20-minute pre-stream.
Like, it actually legitimately worked, where while I was playing Call of Duty, I didn't really give a thought to anything else that was going on in my personal life outside of Call of Duty being played at that moment. So absolutely, positively, 100%, it helped a lot. It did. I needed it. I just needed to get my mind off of stuff. Because a lot of the times people say stuff like, then why don't you just take time off? Why don't you just walk away from streaming and take a few days or a week? And, well, number one, I couldn't take a whole week. Maybe I could take a couple days. Like I said, thankfully, thanks to you guys, I'm not in like horrible financial difficulties anymore. If I need to have an emergency and I really need to take time away for something like that, I can. Thankfully, I used to never be able to. I literally used to have to be here every day, all day. And now I don't have to anymore, and I'm very grateful for that. Okay? But in reality, if I had not been on stream distracting myself yesterday, I really feel like it would have actually been worse. Okay? Just being honest, So it worked, and thank you to anyone who was here yesterday and enjoyed the gameplay in the stream, and everyone was having a good time. I really do appreciate you, because it was a bad time for me. All right? And so that's why a lot of people could tell. They were like, his demeanor's different. This is weird. You're absolutely right. 100%. You guessed correct. Definitely stuff was going on. Okay? So there you go. Now there's another part to this as well. All right? There is. There's 2 halves to this thing that went down yesterday. And the other half is that it was an experiment to some extent. And it wasn't planned. It just kind of happened. And as it happened, I was like, well, this is fascinating, because now what we can do is actually take this data to try to see how it affected things. And
I love he's trying to act like a scientist. Guys, it was a test. Yeah, and you failed, DSP. You failed.
Maybe use it as a positive for improvement and stuff like that. So let's talk. Let's talk about yesterday. So first off, there was no podcast. All right? With no podcast and all gameplay, immediately you could tell some people were turned off, didn't tune in, or saw there was no podcast and left. All right? If anything, this is direct, actual evidence that people have adopted me as a podcaster, as someone who does content other than just gaming, that there are distinct groups of people who come here just to hang out with me rather than it being me play games.
Me.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a good thing. Why? Because I'm getting older, okay? In just a few weeks, I'm going to be 43 years old, and I'm at the point in my life, they call it you're over the hill. I think we all got to accept this. I am more than halfway through my life at this point, okay? I'm not going to get any faster, any stronger, any more viable, all right? This is not going to happen. At this point in my life,
He's acting like he's about to hit 100.
I can maintain, and then there's going to be a decline. This is just the reality of human existence. It's called the human condition, all right? Many people can't face it. I am. I'm trying to do this gracefully, age gracefully, and understand my limitations and the fact that I'm not 20 years old anymore, okay? I can't just sit here playing games all day, every day, and expect that, number one, I'm going to play them at any kind of level that's going to be entertaining, that number two, my stamina is going to keep up with all of that, and that number three,
Stamina from playing video games.
I'm going to be able to continue to make a living working like that, okay? The reality is thus, I need to change and make new kinds of content. I need to change and do different things and not just be Phil the gamer, okay? I need to have different aspects, whether it's as a podcaster, as a commentator, as, making different kinds of content. This is what has to persist as I get older. The gaming will reduce. Will it ever phase out? No. I feel like I will want to be a gamer, all right, for a long time, for as long as I can be, all right? I love video games and gaming in general. It's been a part of my life. It's part of culture. It's everything that I love to share with the internet. But you get to a point where you got to be realistic and understand that's just not what I can do all the time. It ain't going to work, okay? It's not. So there you have it. The podcast is the way that I get daily to do stuff that's not just sitting here playing video games all day. And that's a good thing. I love this podcast. I'm so glad that we experimented with the pre-stream years and years ago, realized there was an audience for it, turned it into an official podcast, and now we have this content every day. And I'm incredibly appreciative to all of you who come by and hang out with me, talk these topics, hash this stuff out. This podcast has actually helped me improve my content so much in the last couple of years. I am so grateful. And for those of you who come by every day to hang out and support the podcast, as opposed to the gaming, I really am thankful because this is where my future lies, this kind of content. Not just play games, play games, play games. Now, I want to keep playing games. Again, I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea. So this means Phil's just going to stop playing games. He's done. No, I want to keep playing games. Look at what I've been doing recently with things like fighting games and stuff. It's been great. But we do have to have variety of content, and the podcast has become a critical part of that content. And the day I didn't do the podcast, we saw a decline in viewership. People left. They didn't support. It's cause and effect, okay? Now, there's another factor here that I need to bring up, okay? And this is going to be a big one. So hold on to
Big
your
one,
butts.
guys, like his
But I need
wife.
to do a quick shout out, okay? Someone tipped $1.50 and says, I feel like you did it because August the Duck's video on you went viral. It didn't go viral. It's doing exactly the same as every other documentary about me. It hashes through the same kind of content.
Over
the same kind of stuff.
350,000 views.
It didn't go viral. Would have been if it had like 10, 20 million views. It's not viral. You don't know what the word viral means. Okay, it's basically the same drama content. Okay, now
It's more views than DSP gets in a month. It's only been out for a few days.
the other factor involved in all of this, all right, is very simple. Okay, I wanted to do a test to see what would happen if I had an entire day where I did not ask for contributions, where I did not mention goals and hype them up, where instead I just let the gameplay content speak for itself. Now, it's a little difficult to judge because perhaps if I had done the podcast, it would have been different. Maybe there would have been people who showed up to the podcast and supported it. I don't know. This is all hypothetical. You never know, right? But the results are the results. I didn't mention contributions. I didn't ask for contributions. All I did was shout them out as they came in, mentioned where we were with our running tally, okay? And all day long, I did not hit a goal. In fact, I only got about halfway to my goals on both streams, okay? So I'm just going to make it known for those out there that say...
So, if you got halfway on 2 streams, that means you met 1 goal. Except none of your money carries over, which is the stupidest fucking thing ever. You want to be all about the goals. Goal this, goal that. Why don't they fucking carry over? Jackass.
Hey, Phil, if you just sat around and played games and made it all about the games, and that was your focus, you would have been fine. The problem is that you don't just focus on the games. You have these other segments, you have this other content, you talk about, just go games like you used to, okay? Well, I'm just going to be honest with all of you. No, that doesn't work. It doesn't, all right? It's incredibly hard in this day and age to make a living just focusing on video games. This is a bad take, all right? I tried for a very long time to stick to my guns, to be who I was, just gaming. It doesn't work anymore, all right? Seriously, it needs to be a situation where basically There's got to be variety. There's got to be a mix. You know what I'm saying? There's got to be an understanding that it's not just about me sitting here playing games all day. It doesn't work anymore. The era of long form playthroughs and making a living just doing them ended a decade ago, arguably, because people had to start changing. There had to be sponsorships, partnerships, getting the games early, getting exclusive access, click this referral code, do that. That's how those kind of people are making a living today. It's very rare, and I'm not saying there's no situations, but it's very rare where you would find a situation where people are going to be able to just play the games, put out playthroughs, and make a full living. All right? Just being honest.
And yet, there's a lot of people on Twitch or YouTube that do that. Amazing how they can do it, but you can't.
I don't foresee that moving forward unless you are someone who plays that game, meaning you do the promotion, you do the sponsorship, you take the pay bag, you take the bag and run with it, right? Those are the people who are making a living doing it like that, okay? So, in that regard, in that regard, I think that was definitive evidence that just doing the games doesn't work anymore, okay? Just being honest. I got a couple more shout outs to do, and then we're going to continue on with this train of thought. Beaver Bother with a $1.50 tip says, hope you have a good stream. Thank you, Beaver Bother. And then there was a $5 tip. No, we have not covered gaming news yet. Someone says, have you covered gaming news today yet? No, I have not. But we will get to it. There's one Ubisoft story. Then again, maybe we won't get to it today and we'll cover it tomorrow because it looks like we're going long on this segment. Okay? I do feel like this is way more important. The Ubisoft story can be covered on any day. Okay. So Sin did a $10 super chat and says, being honest, when you begin your stream answering detractors and drama and engaging with negativity, I hate it and leave. I was hoping you woke up. Sorry, this is my last Dono King. We didn't do that today. I have not addressed a single detractor at all. We're not addressing drama. We're talking about what happened, why my content was different yesterday.
You just mentioned August the Duck, jackass.
So if it's your last dono, I can't stop you. I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. I think you need to cool the hell down, cool your jets somewhere else, because obviously you don't know what you're talking about on my stream. Okay, but thanks for the super chat. If it is your last super chat, it's much appreciated. And thanks for ever contributing. Sorry you feel that way. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Okay. Continuing on. So number one, I can't just play games anymore and expect some kind of success. I can't. I can't just play the games. It's not enough. All right? There's got to be change moving forward. So that's number one. Okay? Number two, the other factor here. Okay? I literally did not ask for support yesterday at all. And as you know, it's become part of my routine. It's part of my shtick. We hype up the goals. We hype up getting excited over who's going to be the next super chatter, who's going to be the first tipper, who's going to do a sub over on King. And it works. It does. It legit works. People get excited when you hype stuff up in a positive manner. And as long as people understand that you're hyping things up in this positive manner and that it's to hit goals, to get rewards, to get excited, then I don't see there's anything wrong with that. All right? Where I do think that there's stuff wrong with it is, for example, if I get back to my old bad ways of saying things such as, you know, oh, I'm desperate. Oh my God, I can't pay my bills. I can't afford my groceries. You know what I mean? Like that stuff was extreme, okay? To the point where I'm embarrassed. I know I did it for years. I'm sorry I did. It was because I was desperate. I was really in a bad way. There was a few years there where I had no money, no credit. Everything was falling apart because of the bankruptcy and everything was destroyed, okay? Now I'm in a better place. So I'm not doing that shit. And, you know, I would hope I never, ever do it again. So, you know, I'm hoping to improve for the better over time. And I hope that I am improving for the better over time. Instead of saying, hey, I'm desperate, say, hey, let's get hype, right? Let's get this moving. Let's get momentum. Let's hit the goal. Let's do a big reward.
And if you don't get hype, then I'll ban you.
Exciting thing. I mean, if I hadn't hyped up all of our goals over the last couple of weeks, we wouldn't have had a Ninja Turtles pizza party. We wouldn't have done the Five Nights at Freddy's Torture-thon like we just did on Monday. That probably would have been much later in coming, right? I mean, hell, we're almost to the next reward right now. I don't think that would have happened either. We're getting accelerated rewards and special things. The Lego night, that was something special a couple weeks ago that we did specifically because we're hitting goals. And that was something you guys told me you wanted. You said, don't do a DSP Tries It, do a Lego night instead. So we did. And now there's people who are legitimately really enjoying that content, correct? So the way I see it, as long as it's being done in a way, okay, where basically I am not being irresponsible, then it's okay. But if I am getting to the point where it is irresponsible and I'm begging hard because I'm saying, oh, I desperately need it and all of that, that's messed up. Okay, it is. So that's just another take from yesterday. I did a day with 0 asks. 0. Not once did I say, hey, contribute. Hey, let's hit the goal. Hey, let's do this. Not once. Did I get support? I did. I did get support. Did I hit any of my goals? No, I did not. Not at all. Okay, so there's your evidence. I'll still do all right if I'm never asking for support. But likely what'll happen is you'll have incredibly slow days. And that will hurt me, to be frank. Okay. You know, you don't want to have a series of incredibly slow days. It would be much harder to hit goals, to do celebratory rewards, to get hype for marathons. Like that all goes hand in hand. Okay. It does. So I'm just going off the evidence as presented to me. All right. Something completely different was tried. And it had to be done organically, meaning I didn't announce ahead of time that I was doing an experiment. Okay, really, it had to be done with the right timing, and it was. It was a day when things were horrible for me. I just needed to take my mind off of everything. I wanted to immerse myself in the games. I didn't want to sit here doing an interactive stream where I felt like shit. I didn't want to be shilling all day. I just wanted to sit here and be focused to get through the day, and it worked. Okay? So all those factors combined, all right, there's a few things that I've kind of surmised and gotten out of it. All right, and here it is, because I'm going to present it to you now. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Moving forward, I, Darkside Phil, have 3 ways that I can continue. And I think all 3 ways I can be successful, okay? I feel like if I don't take one of these 3 paths, I see 3 roads before me. One goes left, one goes right, and one goes right up the middle, okay? And I see all 3 roads, and I don't know what the right course of action is. And to be quite frank with you, I don't actually believe there is a right choice. But allow me to present to you the 3 paths based on my observations recently, okay? Path number 1 would be a path that many content creators changed to, course corrected to, all right, over the years. What do I mean by that? Something smells in here. Look, something smells. What's that? Anyone smell something? Oh, did someone cut the cheese? Oh, a fart that smells just did a super chat. That's what it is. Well, I'll shout
God, that is so fucking annoying.
that out in a minute. I'll shout that out in a minute. All right. So, course number 1 is a simple course, but it's a course that would mean a lot of changes for me. All right. Sell out. Just give up on the fact that I've been this stubborn asshole for the last 10 to 15 years of my life and career and say, I give up on trying to be different. I give up on trying to do things in a different way. I should just do what's best for myself and my family and say, fuck all this. Stop standing on my own laurels, my own values, my own loyalty, my honesty. What does it all really mean anyway? Right? At the end of the day, does any of it actually matter? Or does what matters is that I have the ability to provide for my family? Okay? So when I say this, what do I mean? I mean, immediately I start reaching out to every major company that makes games, all those PR managers in between, indie game companies, game peripheral companies, every single fucking company. And I say, hey, let's make a deal. Send me your game. Send me your product. Send me this, and I will shill it. Right? I will shill everything possible. I'll use your referral code. I will play your game early, and I will not break the street date, and I won't say a negative word about your game. I'll kiss its butt. I'll do exclusive stream previews for my audience so they'll see games ahead of time, and I'll get everything early, and I'll do advanced reviews and sneak peeks, and you can fly me out to events where you can schmooze me in person and fluff me up so that I can get hype for your game and say your game is the best game ever. Everyone should be excited for it. Everyone should buy it. And you, in turn, will give me money, or you will give me exclusive access to that so that then I will benefit from it. And then it'll be the, you pat me on the back, I pat you on the back, unspoken rule that we will keep this in the loop and we'll all just keep helping each other in a circle. And that's how we all make bank and that's how we all get by. Ladies and gentlemen, any content creator that you see that is a gamer or influencer who abides by everything that I just mentioned has sold out. They don't make content because they're passionate about it.
What are you passionate about besides getting drunk in WWE champions, jackass?
Don't make content because they care about what they're putting out. They make content because they want to make money, to make a living, to support their family, to
That's all you do, is make content to make money, so you can pay for WWE champions and gin and DoorDash, jackass.
make bank, to get rich, and to essentially take the bag. That's it. Now, is there anything wrong with that? That's up to you to decide. That's your own choice. Many people don't see any issue with it. And they go watch these big creators who get thousands and thousands of viewers on their streams, who get all the access, who get all the extra stuff. I could have done that and done that over a decade ago. I was in that group. I chose actively to.
You're on stream right now to make money, jackass. If it was a passion project, then money wouldn't matter. You wouldn't have to beg. You wouldn't have to be, guys, only got half a goal on each stream, which means you would hit a whole goal. So I got a bag, guys. I got a bag. If this was the passion project, if you weren't doing it for money, you wouldn't have to keep mentioning that you have to beg.
To not do it. But I could. It would mean a complete shift of focus. It would mean a complete and utter change from the content that I have put out for the last 16 plus years. There would be no honesty. It would be all fluff. Now, the streams would be way more positive. You would never hear me talking about detractors ever again. I actually mean that. Like, it would mean I have to never be honest again about any of that stuff. I have to pretend like it's all white noise and doesn't exist and doesn't get to me. It would just be me talking about games, game news, and all these promotions. Here's a referral code. Please click it. Please buy this merch. Please buy this game. Here's, it would be very different from who and what I am today and always have been. It would be a complete change of take. All right? That's path number one. That's the path going to the left, I feel. Okay? Now, there is another path going to the right. And that path, ladies and gentlemen, is the path of drama, the path of hate, the return of the old school, classic, no holds barred, no punches pulled, say whatever the fuck I want, do whatever the fuck I want, because I'm the big dog in the yard and no one's gonna fuck with me. The return of the king of hate, Darkside Phil. I shit on everything, I make fun of everything, I razz everything, and I cause...
You have never been the big dog. You were a big fish in a small pond back in the early beginning of YouTube, but you have never been a big dog.
Drama. I talk shit and everyone hates me and I hate them back. So I'm constantly arguing with people. We've got arguments, we've got fights, I'm going on podcasts and I'm fucking tearing people a new asshole, but then they're tearing me a new asshole. And we got people at each other's throats and I'm appearing on Lolcow Live and Kino Casino and I'm screaming at the host and they're screaming back at me and we're going crazy. And there's just drama left, right, up and down. Darkside Phil always causing problems for everyone. He just won't keep his fucking mouth shut because he bothers everyone and he talks shit about everyone. Why can't he just shut the fuck up? But it's very entertaining when he opens his mouth and you always want to hear the next thing he's going to say because you don't know how crazy it's going to be and you don't know who he's not afraid to piss off next. That's the right-hand choice, okay? Complete polar opposite of the left-hand choice. Because I'm not playing the game. I'm ignoring, I'll still play video games, sure, but this would be leaning completely and utterly into the drama. Internet blood sport. I'm coming at all these motherfuckers who've come after me for the last 10 to 15 years. I'm going to destroy every single fucking one of them. And then when I'm done with them, because it won't take long to go through these fucking schlubs who
Oh, shit. You're a fucking pansy.
Shat on me for so long. When I'm done with every one of those fucking losers and there's just a pile of broken fucking bodies at my feet, then I'm going after everyone else. No one is fucking safe from the king.
Why does this sound so much like PPP told him to do it?
Now, what's hilarious about that is that everyone is going crazy right now. Everyone is going nuts in the chat, right? They are. Everyone, whoa. It's funny because the first option I mentioned, the left road, going towards gaming and butt kissing and selling out, some people were like, we would like that. We're okay with that. Now I go to the drama side and people are like, oh my God, yes, drama. Do it, Phil. Change, rip everyone, rah, 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 right? But you have to understand something, okay? Just like the left turn goes into selling out. When you go left and you turn that direction, you have to understand something. You can't go back. Once you're a shill, you're always a shill. It never changes. You will always be that shill and you can't stop it. You will have to be that for the rest of your career because no one's going to believe you after you've sold out and lied for so long. If you go to the right and you...
That's why no one believes you now because you've done nothing but lie for decades.
You become ultimate drama, the return of the king of hate, and I'm here to destroy the internet and fuck everyone, right? That also is an irreversible change because now, once you go down that vortex, all right, willingly, which I have not done, I have been incredibly resistant, and I keep telling you guys I don't want to go down that vortex. I think that it would be destructive. To be quite frank, I think that would result in some of the most interesting, most entertaining content the internet has ever seen, and also it would destroy people's fucking lives. Okay? I'm just being
Maybe yours.
honest. I think it would be incredibly entertaining and incredibly toxic and destructive at the same time. I see people losing their jobs. I see people losing their livelihoods. I see people getting completely destroyed. Really. All right? So...
Evil Agent is going to lose his job of standing outside the window staring at me.
There you go. That's that direction. If I do that, that's the end of me seriously covering games. Every once in a while, maybe I'll pull a game out and play, but it's going to be drama all day. All day, every day, drama, drama, drama. And by the way, I fully believe, truly believe, that either of those paths, which are the easy paths, would make me more popular, more financially successful, and secure a future for my family.
Money, money,
I firmly
money.
and utterly believe that. Okay? But then there's the third row. Okay? There's the third row. And the third road is the hardest. And the third road is the most challenging and the toughest. All right? Because the third road is the road that no one travels. It's the road, don't sell out, but don't become a drama queen, person here. But the third road is the road where I listen directly to my viewers and I do my best to take constructive criticism and change for the better in the future. But I be my own person. I don't become the shill sellout. I don't become the drama queen, king of hate. But
So absolutely nothing fucking changes.
instead, I'm just me. I sit here every day and I hang out with you and we have honest, fun conversations about gaming, about news, about other stuff. I do branch out from time to time and do different kinds of content, but it's not always my major focus. If new hot games come out, we can go back and enjoy them. If a chill indie game's out, we can hang out and like it. But we can also adjust and pivot on the fly. I'm not going to be the king of hate or the king of anything. I'm not going to be the shill king where I make a ton of money, but I'm still going to be me.
A dumbass.
And I won't lose myself, and I won't have to change and take the easy way out like everyone else has. All right? But there is a caveat to all of it. All right? And here's the caveat. Here's the kicker.
You need to give me money no matter what I do.
Here's the catch. Here's the trick. Here's the thing that so many people seem to have issue with when I take that third road. All right? The road far less traveled. I have to do things differently. And because I'm doing it differently and I don't have sponsor money and I don't have drama money, I have to ask my viewers for money. Because I'm asking you daily if you like the third road, the road that's the hardest out of all of them, where I'm not going to get big corporations backing me and a bunch of people who like internet blood sports throwing their money at me. I'm going to need those who want that different kind of content to actually come and support it. And I'm going to be asking you every day. And I'm going
to be begging you every day.
Asking you, Jasper, are you okay? You all right? He jumped in the window and he slipped and he fell out of the window. You all right? I think he got caught up in the curtains. Poor guy. Okay, let's continue. Because this is the road less traveled, because this is the one that no one does, right? Everyone makes bank one way or the other. And everyone wants me to go one way or the other. I keep getting told, go this way or go that way. Go this way or go that way. But what about my way? And what's wrong with my way? All right, honestly, what's wrong with my way? Because
what's wrong with being a fence sitter, guys, sitting here begging his audience to pay his bills and his back taxes?
The major complaint, everyone says, you just ask too much. Well, when I ask, I receive. When I say, let's get hype for an event, let's get hype for this and that, people actually support it because they like it. If they didn't like it, why would they support it? When people say things like, oh, your reward is you're going to eat fast food, how is that a reward? Well, why don't you ask the people who supported to get it? Because obviously they saw it as such. Did they not? Did we not just do an entire day of me playing a series of games that I never would have played on my own, but because you guys asked for it, I did, and now we've got an awesome outcome where now I might actually play these games in the future and check them out because I understand them better. So how is that not a good outcome from me asking for contributions to get there? And another question that I have to pose, okay? Me sitting here on a stream all day saying, let's hit the goal, let's get some super chats, let's get some subs, right? Who is that hurting exactly? Was I running a large-scale crypto scam where I lied to my viewers about their investments, making them rich, and then I just pulled the rug out from under them and pocketed all their money? Did it ruin any of their lives?
And there it is. Guys, did I murder anyone? Did I fake cancer like Boogie? No, I just cried and begged for money, guys. It's totally different.
Right? Did I run an entire giant corporation based on giving your children unhealthy candy and lunchable knockoff meals that actually are going to make them like sick and not healthy? But because I'm some big guy who's like the Pied Piper to children on the internet, it's all okay. So I ruin an entire generation of kids who watch garbage on the internet? Did I do that? Did I fake cancer for money?
There it is. Holy shit.
Did I do any of these horrible, horrendous things that other content creators who are big and prominent just get off doing every day and never get held accountable for? No. What I said was, let's eat some fucking pizza. Send me some money so next week we can order pizza, which you will help me to order, and we'll have a fun pizza party together. And then we did it. And then it was fun. So what's wrong with that? We've got actual creators on the internet making documentaries about me saying, I'm the greediest creator? Are you fucking kidding me? Have you ever watched anyone else, you pathetic fucking schlub? You are so lame.
It all comes back to August the Duck. Womp womp.
Because you take the low-hanging fruit, the easy target that everyone's already targeted, to make a worthless fucking video that rehashes the same shit and just ignores the fact that there are people 47 times worse than me who actively hurt people on a fucking daily basis to get ahead. But somehow I'm the greediest person on the internet. Get fucked, you disingenuous fucking loser who has no idea how to actually make a documentary.
Oh my god, it all came back to August the Duck. But guys, this is like, alright, not live, I'm about 20 minutes behind. But this is the first time he's seen this. So it all coming back to August the Duck. Holy shit, August the Duck actually hurt him.
Loser schlub to pull my name out of the hat and say, I'm the greedy guy. You're nuts. Now, the third path is different. The third path means I need your support every day. And it means that every day I'm going to ask for it. And it means every day I'm going to hopefully get it. And I will be disappointed if I don't. Okay? But it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy because it's not get paid to kiss butt and get paid to basically hurt people. Instead, it's get paid to be me and ask for the payment because it's willing. Because I'm giving you the content for free. And then hopefully you guys will help to keep it coming.
If you demand money, it's not free. If you demand $150 a stream, it's not free. What the fuck, DSP?
By supporting me moving forward. It's different. It's definitely a different model. And all these people, oh, these fucking, you're an e-beggar. Listen, you tell me, what's the better path? The sellout, the bully, or the person who says, let's get positive and please send me some support so we can do some fun stuff together? What's worse? Nothing's perfect. I'll be honest. I don't think any three of those choices is perfect. I don't. And to be honest with all of you, okay, I don't think that it's my right to sit here and say that any of those paths are absolutely incorrect. I may morally disagree with some of those paths. All right, I might. But that doesn't mean that they're wrong. That doesn't mean that they're right. It just means that they're different. Okay? I think too many people on this planet think that the world is black and white. So either that was the right path or it was the wrong path. That's not true. Everyone can live to coexist and do their own thing and not have to fuck with others and not have to destroy the things of others. You know what I'm saying? I've learned this a lot over the last 10 years, that it's more about live and let live. I mean, I had a lot of issues with Keemstar and the kind of content that he puts out. I did. I really strongly disagreed with it and thought that it was wrong. And I sat here and I crapped on him because I was jealous of his success and I didn't like that he was getting over with the kind of bullying, lolcow kind of content that he was making. Okay? And then we sat down and we had a conversation together, very man-to-man, very respectfully. And now I think my eyes have been opened.
Gnome to pig roach.
And then I realized I really don't think it's my right to criticize that content if everyone who's involved in it is willingly involved in it. It's different if someone's forced into it, coerced into it. There's a difference. But everyone who's on those shows is willingly on them. They're actively engaged in it. They're making bank doing it. And it's their right to. It's not my place to sit here and crap on that way. You know? On the flip side of that, the sellout stuff, I know I rag on those people all the time. I know I do. 100%. I don't like sellouts. I don't like you turn on someone's stream and you've got referral code here, ad over here, click here to buy merch, click here to do this. Where's the content? You're literally a living billboard at that point. And a lot of people have done that. Okay? They've become sponsor-centric streamers. I don't like that. At the same time, is it really my place?
You don't like it because you tried it and failed. You tried to do that and you failed.
To be crapping on that. Maybe I should have been a lot more respectful when it came to, what was it, Woody's Gamertag and that show that they run, which I don't remember what it's called anymore. Isn't it? Oh, Painkiller or whatever it is, where I shat all over them and I said, man, that's fucked up. Look, their show's terrible. I mean, yeah, that was kind of me making fun of them, lampooning them. But at the same time, if they're making a living doing it, and they're not hurting anyone by doing it, then I don't know why I'm shitting on them except, of course, jealousy. Because I'm jealous that they're successful, while here I am over here, the whipping boy of the internet, and I'm, scraping to get by and shit like that, right? So again, it's just jealous. It's the same thing. Same thing that I had with Keemstar, right? So there's really nothing wrong with any of the paths, all right? But I want you to understand why I've tried to do things different, why I feel like my path can work, but it requires people to actually have some independent thought, to not listen to fucking morons.
You mean it requires people to just give you all their money?
We're constantly just crapping on stuff, using it for personal gain. Phil's the worst guy on the internet. Dude, there is no one who can legitimately look at me and my content and say that I am the worst guy on the internet, period. It's just not possible. So anyone who has is a disingenuous liar who has no content and relies on trying to make fun of memes on the internet to make content. I want you to think about that. I sit here and I grind every day to put out content for you, whether it's gaming news, a podcast, just hanging out and having a conversation, playing a game, doing other things outside the box, whatever it is. It's definitely content, all right? I don't just make my content talking about other people's content. I make original content. That's way harder. Because if you don't make your original content, you just suck on everyone else. You're a fucking parasite. I don't need anyone else to exist. I exist in the center of this weird universe. And
I mean, you need Neil Druckmann to exist, so Neil Druckmann can make more games for you to play.
And this parasite vortex exists around me. If I turn off my camera and never broadcast again, 1,000 people have nothing to do tomorrow.
A couple hundred.
So every one of them can get fucked. None of what you say matters. None of your criticism is valid. You're a bunch of fucking loser lowlifes, and you don't mean anything to me. What does mean something to me are the people who are here day in, day out, hanging out with me on stream, supporting me in moral ways and financial ways to allow me to do what I love. Those are the people who are going to support me, or they're the reason that I'm still here. After 17 years and so many other people who become irrelevant, or they quit and they ran away and tapped out, I'm still fucking here. There's a reason for that. And yes, it's a lot of my determination, but at the same time, it's a lot of you and your determination, and you're putting up with the bullshit and sticking with it and supporting me through the people with all these times with everything. It's amazing. All right, it is. So thank you for that. But this is the path that I have. The sellout, the drama king of hate return, or my path, which I've been doing, but understanding that we're just not going to put up with this bullshit from these fucking losers anymore. And yes, I am going to make...
We aren't going to put up with it.
Money. I am going to ask for contributions, and you're going to like it. Because I'm successful, and you're not. Because
How are you successful if you have to beg?
Success doesn't mean you steal success from someone else. It means you make it for yourself, which is what I have always done, and you could never do because you don't have talent. Get it? Anyone who relies on me to make their content has no talent. Sorry, it's just true.
Memology 101 has more talent in his pinky finger than you have in the past 17 years. Secret Life has more talent in his pinky toe than you have in 17 years. GTG is way more entertaining than you'll ever be, and GTG isn't even trying. Shout out Memology 101, Secret Life, and GTG, just saying.
Yeah. If anyone wants to argue with that, why don't you make some content for your own and show me how fucking successful it does? Like some of these no-loads who actually did try. Oh, I'm going to play games like Phil does. Oh, I'm going to do a stream like he does. Oh, I'm going to do this. And then you fail, you fail, you fail, you fail. Why doesn't July the Cuck make a fucking piece of content for himself that's not making fun or deriding or trying to bring down someone else and see how it does? Because it ain't going to fucking work.
July the Cock? Really? That's what you went with?
Get it? The talent are the ones who have the parasite
He has like 2 million subs, DSP. He has 10 times the amount of subs as you do.
sucking on them at all times. Anyway, at this point, I think it's time to do some shout-outs, and then it's time to actually get into some real content, because this has been...
With that, I gotta say, what a crash out. Guys, I can either be the king of hate or just someone who plays video games. But you're supposed to be DSP gaming. Where's video games? Or I can be a third middle-of-the-road guy that sits on a fence and does neither, but then begs constantly. That's what you've been doing for 17 years. With that, I gotta let you go. Thank you for watching. As always, like, subscribe, comment down below, and have one hell of a day.